What was it that you did to convince the leadership at your organization on going down the journey to build OMS components in the first place?
Great question. So just to provide some insight, right? When I joined Exporting Goods, they had started a little bit on the path. So I'll tell you kind of what we did to spark it and accelerate it and continue the momentum, and how I would do it even going forward if I was entering a new organization, just so that there's some continuity. But I think the first thing when I think about building, and by the way, this would apply to build or buy, um, is one, you have to have a business strategy that you're laddering up to, right? That's number one. And then your technology strategy has to be a part and alignment to that, right? So there's cohesion there and continuity. From there, then you want to start to think about what's the vision for the space this is representing, right? Because this may or may not fit into a multiple set of domains. And how does that vision and that purpose show up? And that can show up in terms of like value, which is super important. That can show up in terms of capabilities, right? And where you're headed with that vision. You want to think about risks, right? You want to think about where your organization's at from a technology perspective. And these things are all interconnected that I'm talking about, right? But I'm starting with the highest, working our way down. You want to think about the way you want to sequence it. You want to think about what you can afford. You want to think about where the org is at. And when you piece those things together, the last and probably the most important piece as you think about all those other elements is how you tell that. Can't emphasize that enough, right? As you move up and up and up and you think about these very large ecosystem, multi-connected domains, right? Product domains, if you're in that model or whatnot, and how they all interweave with each other. The storytelling around all those components is super, super important. That becomes actually more of the lever in terms of how it gets over the hurdle, to be quite honest with you. All those components feed into the storytelling, but how you tell that story to a CFO, to a CEO, to an executive, to your CTO, et cetera, and how you tee that up is super, super important. And how you're bringing those people for that journey and that storytelling. So when you go in, you've already rallied the support behind you,